Today we're going to go over the basics of using PicMonkey, whether you're using it for virtual assistant services or some kind of graphic design, whatever you're using it for. We'll kind of go over some of the basics. Now you'll notice that I do have a premium account, so that does afford me a little bit of extra features that aren't in the free version of PicMonkey, but we'll kind of talk about that as we go through the video. First thing I want to talk about is you can go through here on the front page at PicMonkey.com and click edit, select all your files or touch up or design or collage. The way I like to do it is if I have something that I just recently downloaded, for instance a stock photo, I'll just go ahead and pull it from my download bar and drag it up into one of these. So this time we're going to edit it, and we'll talk a little bit about editing pictures and what the features are of editing. Now here's all of your different categories that you can go through and use in editing. The basic edits, you'll see you can crop it, change the color, rotate it, simple things like that. I don't typically use these a lot because a lot of the time as a virtual assistant I'm just editing stock photos. And so usually the stock photos are already pretty nicely edited, as you can tell with this one. And then in this next tab here, you'll see these are different effects that you can use. So kind of like filters on Instagram, if you can think of it that way. It kind of changes the colors to these colors. Now anything here with a little crown is a premium feature. So if you don't have an account, I think it's $5 a month for premium. If you don't have an account, you won't be able to use those, but you'll see a lot of these options here are still free. So you're not super limited without having an account. And then these are just all the kind of things that you can go through and add, black and white, film grain, stuff like that. This tab here is going to be all kinds of editing that you would do if you were going to go through and edit a picture to look nice like this, just fixing blemishes and things like that. Just closer edits in the picture that you might want to do if it's a picture that you took yourself. I'm going to actually skip this one, which is text, and go down to here first. For the sake of this post, we're just going to actually show you how to do the image that's in this post. It's very simple. When you go through here, this is overlays. So this is anything that you're going to want to put over the picture. If I wanted to put an arrow to it, I could. Just any kind of, there's all kinds of stuff here. There's a lot of festive stuff, fireworks. I think there's Halloween stuff also, usually around Halloween. Right now it's wedding season at the time of making this video, so there's a lot of wedding stuff, stars and stripes because it's July. Stuff like that. So whenever you're doing seasonal stuff, it's good to check in here. Now, when I'm doing a banner, there is actually a section for banners. So if you scroll down a little bit, you can find banners down here. Now, personally, I don't use those that often. Sometimes I'll use them if I have a little bit of white space, but since this is just going over an actual picture, I like to just go ahead and make my own banner, and I just like it to be a rectangle. So this is what it pops up with, and I'll go ahead and pull out the sides. You can see I kind of pull them out past the picture, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter. And then I like to pull it down. It defaults as black, but you can change the color. I like to drag it down either to the top or the bottom so that you can still get most of the picture. Most of the times I do it at the bottom because I think it's a little more eye-catching. And then I'll change it to white and fade it so you can still see a little bit of the picture in the background. And actually, since this picture is so white, I'm going to go up a scale or two and do it a little bit gray so it stands out more. So that's how I make a banner, and I like to fade it just for the purpose of being able to see the picture in the background still. But you certainly don't have to if you want to just have it a strong color. And then I'll go into the text. This is actually my favorite part of PicMonkey because you have all of the PicMonkey text. So these ones with the crowns, of course, are all premium, but there's tons of free ones. And as you can see by these here, they're always adding new ones. So you pretty much have a really great selection of fonts here. But also, this section here where it says yours, you can actually add your own fonts, which is a really great feature, especially for a free service if you're not paying for the premium. So what you'll see is that it comes with all the ones that your computer has as well, But you can actually go to free font sites, like one of the ones I like to use is dafont.com, and that's dafont.com, and you can download fonts there for free. So for instance, this text right here, I really like it because it's kind of like a handwritten text. See, that one was free, and I downloaded it, and so I can use that on my PicMonkey edits. So if there's a certain type of font that you're looking for and you can't find it in PicMonkey, go to Dafont or some other font site and see if you can find it there. And then once you download it to your computer, I usually have to extract the file, download it to my computer, and restart my computer, and it will show up in here. So it's a really great way to have custom fonts and things like that. Now for this site, I like to use the same font typically, just because it kind of makes a cohesiveness with all the images. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one here, which is what I typically use. And then when I type it, I select all of it, and you can do that by Control A, or I think Command A if you're on a Mac. And then I center it, which is here on the toolbar that pops up when you're editing your text. And then I'll just drag it down here. And once I drag it down here, I like to try and fit it to the banner that I created. Now I could just make the banner smaller, but I usually make them about the same size, and I just try and fit the text to them. So this one, I'll drag it up to the corner, and rather than change the font size here, because it usually skips up a few numbers when you do that, I just kind of will drag it out this way until it fits the banner the way that I want it to. Now, if you need to adjust it just slightly without dragging it, and you don't, because sometimes when you drag it, it drags it a little too far for what you're wanting, you can actually use the arrow keys on your keyboard to scoot it over, just these little minute adjustments if you can see that moving. Now, typically when I'm editing stock photos, I usually stop there, but I want to show you guys some of the other features that they have. There is frames, so if you ever wanted to create a frame around your picture, you could do that. And there's also textures. So if you were creating something, say, like a quote image that was like a square image, and you wanted to add some texture to it in the background so it wasn't just a plain color with a quote on it, this is a really great tab to come and do that. And that's great for both virtual assistants, graphic designers, and even bloggers, like people that are looking to start a blog. If they're trying to gain social media traction and they want to post quote pictures and stuff like that to gain followers on social media, that's a great tab to use for that. And then you'll see here some of the themes that they have. See, these are a lot of the Halloween ones. There's comics, Christmas ones, Valentine's. And when you go into these, so we'll actually do, we'll do Christmas to just kind of show you guys. So they have all these different features that are very detailed for Christmas. And then here they even have certain fonts. Here's a Santa script, and these are all supposed to be relevant to Christmas. Candy cane frames, all kinds of things like that that you can just add to your picture. So that's just the basics of using Pinterest. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and we can discuss it some more and go into some more detail. But now that you know the basics of PicMonkey, you can go forth, use these skills that you've learned, and either in your graphic design or your virtual assistant business, and make some money.